Hey, I'm Steakosaurus Rex, and these are my videos about making custom Fang Jakks specific figures at 4-inch scale and 2.5 inch. This is a 3-part video series. The first video is how I made the 4-inch figure and the modeling work that went into creating both. The second is the 2.5-inch figure and making the armadilloid from Sonic Mania, as well as disaster striking in the middle of the project. And the third is a short video on how I made Fang's iconic vehicle, the Marvelous Queen. Fang is an old character, first appearing in 1994's Sonic Triple Trouble. Most recently appeared as a main villain in Sonic Superstars alongside Trip and Robotnik. The 2.5 inch was actually a commission from somebody online, but I figured if I'm making that, might as well make the 4-inch as well. I never actually planned on making a 4-inch Fang, but I did make a 4-inch Trip, so they go together really well, so I'm glad that I got this commission to be able to do both of them. I made it so that the hat can come on and off easily, see it's stuck on there nicely. Just take it off, goes back on with a nice little snap, and I'm sure that the camera could hear that. It's super satisfying. If you watched my previous Trip figure video, you know I did a lot of testing to get the pieces to articulate just right. Same situation this time around. I created parts with marking shapes so that I could take note and match up in Maya exactly what negative shapes fit best for each part. As you can see, I made a ton of parts with lots of notes. Sometimes iterations of shapes came down to differences of a single percentage point of difference in scale. It took a lot of testing, and at certain points I just cheated by heating up the plastic to fit a little better.
That's cheating.
But seriously, look at how many iterations I made. And for each one, I had to go through the messy resin cleanup process. Definitely a difficult part of the project. My client provided a rigged model of Fang, so I didn't have to start from scratch. This model was definitely not print ready. It was made for a game, I believe, so it had all kinds of disconnected flat shapes. For the most part, things in 3D printing need to be watertight, or kind of closed off geometry for optimal printing. I had to remove mouth geometry and thicken all the parts into full shapes so that I could boolean them together. There were also a lot of holes to close up and unmerged vertices here and there. I also intentionally thickened parts like these face hair tufts to make them a little more durable once printed. And then once everything was merged together, I could cut out shapes that would fit the figure. To make the hat fit perfectly, I extruded all the geometry of the head, just eyeballing it, and cut it out of the hat. You can see it has a negative impression of the head so that it can fit together. This is the only first guess I got right in this whole project. Since the hands were already rigged, I posed them and then cleaned up the geometry in that pose, exaggerating some of the details like the metal plate. Then I modeled his pop gun using rudimentary shapes. It was a pretty simple object. I made the belt. Eventually I cut a slit in the back so it could bend and fit on the figure. And then I went to work on the foot. It was a tough balance getting them thick enough to work for the toy. I think I got it right. Then it was time to print. I sliced the object in Cheetahbox and then sent them over to my Elegoo Saturn printer. When I said earlier that I did a lot of testing, I can't tell you how much work went into this. Each test needed me to build the objects, slice, print, remove supports, and wash with alcohol. cure with UV light, and then test it and make notes. And then start the process all over again. This was easily 80% of the work. I even had a disastrous printer problem that I talk about in the 2.5-inch video, so keep an eye out for that. I bought a new dremel tool for this project. It was really handy being battery powered. It also has a ton of attachments. I cut the tufts of fur off of a Tails figure. And then ground down the rest to a smooth shape. Then I cut the legs to make a tapered shape that would fit the 3D printed boots. Before painting, I dyed the parts and it didn't really work. I go into more detail in the 2.5-inch video just because I had to split up so much of the footage. Then it was on to painting. I started the skin with Phoenician Purple of Citadel brand paint. And then for the leather parts, I started with Rhinox hide. I had a really rough time getting the white paint smooth, using so many layers, so it came out bumpy. It's probably what I'm least happy about. I then worked in more and more shades of World Bearer's Red to bring in more of the orange shade of the character design onto the brown parts. And then just some silver paint for the metal parts. And then it was just on to some details with the black, the rim around the hat, as well as the eyes on the front of the face. I used Gorilla brand super glue to attach the feet and also the belt. I actually left the tail as just a tight fit so that I could remove it easily for storage. Pretty snazzy. Then as I fit the head, I did something stupid. I had wet paint on my fingers. Left a big old purple spot on the eyes right when I was done. So I cleaned that up and then I was done. And that's how I made my 4-inch Fang custom. Fang isn't my favorite style of character, and his tail makes it really tough to be a good, durable toy. I want to experiment with more flexible resins again. The first time I tried, I had a lot of curing problems and paint didn't stick to it well. It's definitely worth looking into again. I'm really glad this commission pushed me to make something I normally wouldn't have. Let's be real. I needed a Fang to go with my Trip figure, no doubt about it. I think they look great together. Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked about how that turned out. I've got a nice pair of figures here, and I'm really looking forward to making more. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. I know I've got a lot of requests for maskless Trip E102 Gamma, which is in progress. And I've got some really big ideas as well coming up. And if you like this video, like and subscribe and share. And thanks for watching to the end of the video. It really helps with getting YouTube to recognize that people are watching my stuff. Have a great rest of your day.